Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
Good morning. It is the Fishing in Florida Show. It is an honor and a privilege to have you listen in and allow us to share with you what we find and all the little goodies that we have. And we've got a whole, let's see, I think about 6 different guests coming on this morning. And this morning I have Carolyn with Atlas Trax. If you want to protect what you love to the max, who are you going to call? Carolyn at Atlas Trax. Welcome, Miss Carolyn.
Well, good morning, and good morning to our listeners.
And so I know you've been up most of the night. I mean, literally been up most of the night. And before we get into the tide and the radar and all that, let's just tell the listeners a little bit why you been up all night.
Well, what I have been doing with my boat trackers is tracking 80 support boats and over 100 paddleboarders that are paddling from the Bahamas to Florida today. They left at midnight last night through pretty rough seas to raise money for cystic fibrosis for a local girl that has that and local families. And so far they've raised almost $600,000 just in this event. But it's a really rough night because I want to make sure the boats and the paddlers that are assigned to the boats are all moving safely. It appears as though the weather was pretty rough. A few boats have already just picked up their gear and already come back to the States. Some people went back to the Bahamas, but the closest paddlers right now are about 35 miles from the Lake Worth Pier, going about 4 miles an hour. So it's still going to be a lot of hours left standing up on those paddleboards.
And with regard to that and what is happening there is, as I'm looking at the Wonder Map this morning, we have all kinds of activity between here and there. A lot of spotted showers, nothing, now that I look at it, a couple of serious ones, but the majority of them just looks like showers. But, with the showers comes the winds, and that makes it more unpleasant, more difficult to navigate the water. So there's no telling what kind of issues that they're running into out there. But I'm looking forward. So when do you think the beginning of these people will start showing up? This afternoon sometime?
Well, yeah, I think the first group that is actually the competitive group will probably start showing up around 1 o'clock, and I'll post up a couple maps. Right now, what's really unique is that all of those trackers and paddlers are on one map. So you have hundreds of people that people can individually track their paddlers, know when their family's getting close, because if you hover over the boats or the paddlers, it shows their name, the last report, their location, and their speed.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing. I'll post that up for our listeners. This requires a year of training. I can't imagine standing on a paddleboard in calm weather, let alone leaving at midnight in the dark with no moon.
Wow.
And 2 to 5 foot seas that you can't even see because it's so dark.
We did have a moon last night, but along with that, I don't know if they were experiencing the same thing we were here, but there was a lot of cloud cover. So we did have a moon, but it didn't provide the light that it would normally do, not anywhere near it because of this cloud cover. So I don't know if they were experiencing the same thing there or not, but do wish each one of them well. And so to get into that for a minute, how many of them are on these trackers that you're watching?
So we've got 60 Atlas Trax trackers on the actual support boats, and the support boats are donated boats by people that just basically took a couple days off to go over to the Bahamas and will travel back slowly with about 4 to 5 paddlers per support boat. So if you can imagine, going about 4 miles an hour, and then you have 4 paddle boarders that are exhausted behind you, just kind of there for support. And then there's over 100 paddlers that are wearing GPS tracking wristbands. So that way we know and everybody knows where they are at every moment. Very, very short amount of sleep last night. I must say I got a little more sleep than those people standing up all night and paddling. But they'll be arriving at the beach, on their hands and knees. Some of them will be sitting on milk crates as they paddle. Some will be, just basically laying down at that point. They're going to be very exhausted.
And along with that people may not realize that, but Carolyn spent hours upon hours upon hours having to identify. Each tracker has a number so that you know which tracker it is, and that number has to be given a name. And that takes how many people? 100 personal trackers?
100 personal trackers that
and
are on
60
people,
for the
and
boats?
60 on boats.
That's
And then it
100.
gets even further. What happens is after I individually track them and label them, then we actually have an app that blends together the boats and the paddlers. So then that information had to be fed to that guy. So that way people can go to one place and see the boats and paddlers on one map versus having to go to my maps to see the boats and another map to see the paddlers. So it was a huge, and all of these people doing this, it's all donated time.
Isn't that
They're
amazing?
training, they're doing it to raise money for one girl, Piper, and we've had Travis on the show. We'll have to have him on the show after this event.
Yeah.
But he rallied up all these people to do this crazy insanity event, and it's his 4th year in a row doing it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, I think we've got our first guest on, and that guest is Betty Bauman, and Betty is with Ladies Let's Go Fishing. Good morning, Miss Betty.
Good morning. Thinking about fishing today.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
Oh, hey, Betty. It's going to be a little rough on the East Coast, but are you over on the West Coast or down the Keys?
I'm thinking about it. I'm actually working again, but time will come where I will be able to get out and do it on our Ladies Let's Go Fishing Shearwater boat. We love that boat.
That's her new boat, her new baby, which I think is just 6 months old. I don't even think it's. How old is it, Betty?
Yeah. It came in January, and
right around 6 months. Yep.
Yep.
And how's that been working for you?
I'm very pleased, especially when we took it offshore and we went about 25 miles off the Keys coast to catch mahi, and then a front came through a little early. We had planned to be back before it came through, and I was really pleased on how it handled the waters when the waters, increased to 2 feet, then 3 feet, couple 4-footers, but we were rolling on. We were returning, so we were in a rolling sea. But still, I was happy with the way it handled the seas.
Excellent.
And nice solid. I mean, it's not fun to be out there when the seas kick up in a bay boat, especially at, a 25-footer. But I felt safe.
Yeah.
I've been out on other bay boats, and sometimes you go out there and the conditions change so
quickly, rapidly. Yeah, very, very rapidly.
It's good to know what your boat is capable of.
I've had a couple of those experiences, and especially when a downpour comes out of nowhere. You're fishing and you get kind of sidetracked with the fishing, and you look up and hey, where did that come from? Pick up the lines, and by the time you've got the lines picked up, it begins to rain, and as you begin to move, it rains harder and harder, and then becomes a downpour, and you can't tell at that point which way is what. It is kind of a weird thing.
And then a storm can really kick up the wind. So if they say scattered showers, and it's pretty calm, you just have to watch out for those storms, because temporarily, or for a while, they can
create
make
havoc.
The seas rough.
Yep, they can create havoc. So what is the latest with Ladies Let's Go Fishing?
We completed our June Screamin' Reels tournament, which is a unique event we do every year, because we have an audience of beginners that want to learn on the boats, because things on the boats are, fishing is a lot of the unexpected, and that happens when you're out on boats.
Yep.
You can't possibly cover that in a one-day seminar.
Mm-hmm.
So they learned fishing inshore and offshore. Learn things like, how to get the line out of trees, on the inshore, things like that, how to target different species, different types of the gear. And then offshore, what happens when your lines cross and somebody's in your way, or your fish is going down and the other fish is swimming across, or you're letting the line out and all of a sudden it's all snaggled up and bird's nested, reeling in the line, to remember to run that line to the left and the right so it doesn't bunch up in the middle, touch that edge of the reel and break. Anyway, the ladies caught 225 fish. We had 26 participants. charters were really hard to come by as it got close. And then we gave away some awards, and some rods and reels and some pens. Actually, this time the top fish was a grouper. It was about a 10-pound red grouper.
Ooh,
because
nice.
the mahi were, Saturday the mahi were sparse. There were scattered weeds. There were everybody. The seas were flat, calm, and everybody in the world was out there fishing. So these boats, as soon as they found a debris or signs, there were just, a lot of boats at the same place.
Yeah.
Sunday changed, and there were weed lines offshore, big patches, and less competition. So Sunday was the way to the best day to fish. There were schools of mahi, on Sunday. On Sunday, everybody was catching fish.
Cool.
Yeah, and then inshore was won by a trout. There were snook releases, but snook was not in season. So next year I'm going to count release snook. And there were a few lucky guys that took it too, because if they want to learn with their significant other, we allow it, even though it's ladies, let's go fishing. We do not discriminate.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice thing.
I know that you work literally from A to Z when it comes to working with the ladies and instructing them and showing them. Hands-on is probably the best way to learn. And we used to call that in service, we used to call that OJT, on-the-job training. So
that's right.
you're on
and
the
I
job.
do it in June because there, a lot of times, this time they were tough to find. There were lots, many mahi caught, but nothing big to win the tournament. But, they usually come running through there in June, and it's active season, and in June the seas, it's likely the seas are calm. Actually, keys were pretty rough, but the weekend we went was the first time they flattened out.
Wow. I have been out there like 20, 25 miles offshore, and it's like a puddle. It's just amazing, and it can go from that to what I call angry water, where all of a sudden you see it start to break up, and it becomes 1 to 2, and then before you know it, it's 2 to 3, and you're heading back, and by the time you're getting close to shore, it's now 3 to 5. Oh my, we gotta get in. It can change very rapidly, but I do miss that. There's just something about being out on the water. Like, go ahead, Carolyn.
I was going to say, I had a customer who was anchored off a little island in the Bahamas 2 weeks ago, and a crazy rogue wave came. They were just snorkeling and capsized their 28-foot boat and sunk it right there.
Oh my gosh!
In the Bahamas, ooh.
Right, and then it gets worse because they paid a company to refloat the boat, and another crazy rogue wave came and it sunk it again. So the whole thing went 12 feet down below. Yeah.
Wow.
That's something that's hard to prepare for.
Yeah.
Who knows where that would come from? A little mini earthquake, or
I don't know if there's any correlation between that, but the Navy, I think it was, detonated some big bomb off our shore here in the last couple of days or so. I don't know exactly when, but I think within the last week. Some big bomb they detonated. I don't know if that may have had anything to do with it or not. You can't do something in one area and not expect it to affect something else, especially when we're talking about water, So I'm not saying it had, but I'm just saying it's seems awful coincidental.
Yeah, sometimes, that case, if you don't have your life jackets on, you just jump off the boat and then find it later.
Well, that's a funny story, too, since it was 12 feet of water and it had an Atlas Trax tracker on it, which was also waterproof. They were able to locate it and know where it was because it just stayed where it was and it's kept tracking even though it would sunk.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when it's good to have your personal locator beacon and an EPIRB as well, and that's the Atlas tracker is a good thing to have. Great thing, yes.
Any of that stuff Carolyn can help you with if you ever need any of that stuff. She's got it all. I love the technology. It's just, it's something that, you get out and you drive in your car, you put a seatbelt on. You're not putting the seatbelt on because you want to get into an accident. You're putting the seatbelt on because you know that even though as hard as you try, the possibility still remains, as remote as it may be, the possibility still remains that somebody may do something and you may get involved in it, of none of your fault. And then the reason you have the seatbelt on, of course, to give you that additional safety. Well, the reason that you would want to carry one of these trackers with you, the personal ones are the ones I really like, carry one of these with you is, God forbid something goes wrong. Do you remember, Carolyn, about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, there was like 10 people missing down in the Keys? You remember that story?
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
And I don't think...
And
what was the result of that? I don't think they found any of them, did they?
No, they didn't, but I've got a pretty exciting story what happened this week. I had a kid, you mentioned an EPIRB. They were out fishing 80 miles off the coast. The EPIRB fell off its bracket and got wet, and they didn't know that. They had an Atlas Trax tracker. The Coast Guard called the father. The father started panicking. It turns out that I started calling the Coast Guard. The tracker had gone back to sleep because ultimately the kid was drift fishing, so it wasn't moving. And the Coast Guard was able to double-check the EPIRB locations with the tracking locations, determine, and they sent the C-130 aircraft out, and basically determined that, all was good. They weren't sinking. They were trolling based on my maps. But they still sent the plane because for an hour they were just bottom dropping, and they could have been sinking. And, that was a really big deal. And that's why, all the safety equipment kind of goes together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're the Atlas tracker. So that works in the Bahamas, and if that goes off there, where does the rescue come from?
Well, the Atlas Trax tracker allows your family and friends to track you if you're overdue. So that's a really good thing. They'll see maps that they'll be able to see exact location, latitude, longitude, the time of the report, how many miles you are for something. And then your family can just call the Coast Guard and say, we need you to send somebody to this latitude and longitude. That's kind of what happened last week over off of Steenhatchee, as a matter of fact. But it was a pretty big deal. To put up a big aircraft like that is a pretty big expense. And I stayed in touch with the Coast Guard and just let them know that this is where I think the boat is. And they were able to compare that with the latitude and longitude from that floating beacon that is registered with the Coast Guard. So thank God all was well. But the coolest thing is they actually got video footage of this big plane flying over them, not knowing why the plane was flying over them yet.
Did they have to pay for it?
I'm going to ask them, but But you can hear what's great on the video is you can hear the Coast Guard hailing them on the video because, of course, they're just saying, look at that beautiful plane, not knowing they were coming for them. And
I bet they're like, we're in trouble.
Yeah, so they actually made them read the beacon number right from their hands, from the VHF radio. You could hear the Coast Guard guys in the plane confirming the beacon number. It was pretty neat. I'll post that up. I've got the video footage.
Isn't that awesome?
You can't have too much safety, and we have an ICOM radio that has a emergency button that works with your GPS. Yeah. And you just push that. So that's, that's a third, another way that you can protect yourself or help them find you. But yeah, I agree. It's good to have different systems. And in the case that you're talking about, yours, the Atlas Trax tracker, helped probably avert multiple, rescue boats and things like that. From going to a boat that wasn't really in trouble.
That's pretty awesome.
You're 100% correct, Betty, because the next thing that was going up was the helicopter from Tampa. The plane came from New Orleans.
Wow.
So
wow.
That's a lot of fuel. So absolutely, you're right in that. So,
wow.
But that was the excitement of last week.
Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment.
Good news is they were okay.
Yeah. So, Betty, what's the next event coming up for you?
Well, right now we're working on planning for next year, working on our sponsors and donors, the ones we didn't have time to get to yet. And ICAST is coming up, so we're going to be going there in Orlando. Then we have our Keys event October 15th through 17th with the full-day seminar and 1 to 2 days fishing. And what's really cool is the ladies can pick 1 day inshore and 1 day offshore.
Oh, neat.
And learn, both kinds of fishing because they're all totally different. Inshore is casting and you're busy, and then offshore can be a lot of sitting if the boat's trolling, but you're busy when you're bottom fishing. but it's not everybody fishing all the same time unless you're into a school or have multiple hits.
Yeah.
And then the same weekend, a new event we have is going to be the Tickled Pink Bass Tournament and seminar in Lake Wales, south of Orlando, at the Guy Harvey Resort in Camp Mac. So that's a chance for them to actually be part of a tournament. They've got pontoon boats ladies can fish from. There's a bonfire with music and dinner, and that's October 15th and 16th. We will be in the Keys, but the Guy Harvey people will be handling the hospitality and coordination. And then lastly, we have November 20th to the 21st at the Guy Harvey Resort in St. Augustine, surf fishing. In the meantime, I'm working on a Bimini trip where we're going to go by boat, sleep on the boat, go to Bimini and back, a day of fishing, a day to explore Bimini, Bahamas. And I've just been taking my time on that one until, entry to the Bahamas, which has cleared, stays that way.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only holdup is, getting the okay with the Bahamian government. And that's on a 137-foot boat called the American Patriot with a private chef, kitchen. They even have an ice cream machine.
Carolyn was trying to get a hold of them. And it's ironic that you bring that up because our next guest coming up is going to be talking about the update about the Bahamas travel and the Biminis and the different restrictions that are on and off. And so that's really a nice segue into that. Go ahead, Carolyn.
I was going to say that for those that don't know, that American Patriot boat was actually one I believe it was 9/11.
Yeah.
That was up there, one of the ferry boats, and it came down here and it was retrofitted for the fishing. And absolutely. I know even Trey West has gotten some kids on there fishing and veterans to go out there and kind of teach them how to fish.
Oh, they did a nice job, and I can't believe how astute you are on knowing about this boat and its history, because you're exactly right. And they went through the whole boat and refitted it for overnight charters, day charters, and they have rod holders and nice rods. They've got mates, and what's nice is for those since it leaves at 5 a.m. out of Hollywood, Florida. They'll let us. They may let us stay there that night. So when the boat leaves at 5, we're not panicking trying to make the boat. We're already on it and snug in our beds and ready to rock.
Awesome. Well, Miss Betty, we're out of time on this slot, but before we go, I believe the website is ladiesletsgofishing.com. Is that correct?
Yes, and that has the information. We have photo galleries up from the past events so you can see what happened, and that's where people can register, and we also answer emails and phones.
All right, my dear. Well, I thank you for taking time to call in, and I greatly appreciate it. Wish you an awesome day, what's left of it here. And we'll be looking forward to having you back on with more updates. It's ladiesletsgofishing.com. Miss Betty is the lady to get a hold of, and a wide variety of information for you. And what I really like is she literally takes you from A to Z, from what the line is, how to tie the line, to, you caught a fish, well, here's how you can cook it. That's what I say, from A to Z. She doesn't leave anything out. I appreciate it, Miss Betty. God bless you, my dear. An awesome weekend to you, what's left of it. Let me let Carolyn say goodbye. We'll go to a break.
Yeah, absolutely, Betty. And I keep saying I want to get to one of your classes once you have one, between the Keys and Fort Lauderdale. I'll make sure I get in there.
Always, when you register, there's a place for notes. Put down who you are.
There you go.
You got it.
All right. Thank you.
Tight lines, everybody.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show. We'll be right back.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped. Even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion. Air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. I just caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah. Fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah. I'm fishing and
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show. Good morning, good morning, good morning. If you are just joining us, we will have archives set up, and the way to find them is if you go to our home network, and that would be thefishinginfloridashow.com, and that is one of the ways that you can listen to us. Along with, if you have the TuneIn app, you can go to Marina Rock Radio. A big thank you to Marina Rock. They allow us to use their servers on Sunday morning and reach their listeners as well. So if you have the TuneIn app, go to Marina Rock Radio, and that's another way you can find us. The easiest of all the ways, of course, is to download our app. It's absolutely free. And I promise you there is no adware, there's no spyware, and we don't use push notifications. It's just an easy way for you to listen to our network, really. And if you're on Facebook, you can click on Contact Us. That'll give you a live link to the show as well. And we are working for our home network. We are working for a contract with the TuneIn people. So eventually, WTRM Radio, which is our home network, will be on TuneIn as well. That's down the road. Anyway, let me welcome back my co-host. And she is somebody who, if you have something you want to protect to the max, she's somebody you want to talk to. Her name is Carolyn. She's with Atlas Trax. Welcome back.
Well, thank you, Riscala.
You know, isn't it ironic that Betty was talking about going over to the Bahamas and that there's regulations, this, that, and the other. And here our next guest it's so strange how this kind of stuff comes up. Here our next guest is Brett Fitzgerald, and Brett is going to give us an update about that kind of stuff. Good morning, my friend, and welcome.
Good morning. How are you today? Good morning, Carolyn.
Good morning, Brett. Well, I heard a rumor that you might have been with my friend Carol Strickland.
This is true, yes. Yeah, that's great that you're friends. It is a small world.
We've had Carol on numerous times. I love her product. I love her. She reaches out. Again, it's a testimony to the fishing community here in South Florida, what they do. But Brent said he had some information that might be helpful to us, because I know there's people that listen that travel from here to the Bahamas, some of them on a regular basis, so they may be aware of it, but others not so regular, and so they may be in for some surprises. So I thought we would take the opportunity to let Brett give us an update on to what's up between us and them.
Yeah, thank you. Normally when I come on and talk, we're talking about fisheries conservation stuff and the work that my foundation, the Angler Action Foundation, does in Florida and abroad. But yeah, as I mentioned, I've been writing for Florida Sportsman for over 20 years, and most recently I write the tropical column, which gives me the opportunity to connect with a lot of places that are on our bucket list for fishing. And of course, the Bahamas is the most accessible tropical fishing for Florida anglers. So that's the majority of our coverage. And after things have been shut down for so long, there have been some changes for traveling procedures, some updates from both our side and the U.S. side and theirs. and keeping up with that stuff can really benefit, I think, our Florida anglers who are thinking about heading over. So, first of all, on our end, we have there's an app that you can download now to expedite your process when you come back to the state. That's called CBP Roam, and that's not a new app, but it's free. And I was first introduced to that app a couple of years ago, actually, when I met your friend Carol from Mermaid Vodka. She and her friends, including her boyfriend Bruce Wade, who owns Power Cat Marine down in Fort Lauderdale, I went over on a trip to the Bahamas with them for a magazine story. And Bruce was the first one I had seen use that app, and really expedited the process of coming back, eliminated the need to go physically check in when you're coming back by a boat. You upload some information before you go, and then you just basically connect with them on the app on the way back through. Now, over the time that, travel to the Bahamas was shut down, there's been some updates to the process. And this time, we just went over a couple weeks ago with them to Bimini for for World Cat's annual kind of regatta of their boat owners, the Catting Around Bimini. And coming back, that was the first time we had 9 people on the boat. And Carol actually kind of managed everybody coming back through that CBP Roam. The whole process was done within, I would say, a matter of minutes per person. Very easy, and we all downloaded the app, and consequently, you take a few pictures of your face with it, and you get I forget what it's called, like a certified individual number that you can put on your passport to expedite even faster next time through.
Wow.
So I thought that was a real bonus if there's people that have thought about going, but they're kind of afraid of the process of customs and immigration and all that coming through because they've never done it. Really simplified the process and made it really easy.
So now, what was the name of the app again, Brett? It's
called CBP. That's like Charlie Papa Bear Roam, ROAM. And like I said, it's free download, and it's worth having on your phone, even if you're just thinking that you're going to go to the Bahamas by boat at some point in the future, just to have it, there and handy. Now the Bahamas. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask, how have the restrictions lifted? Like, here in Florida, we're almost, I would like to say we're almost back to normal. We're as close to back to normal as we've been in quite some time. Is it the same over there, or is it there's still restrictions happening?
There are still restrictions over there technically. Now they're accepting, Florida visitors, and they were really tight for a while. Going over there, you just weren't allowed to go. But it's opened back up. If you're vaccinated, it's a little bit looser now as well. If you're not vaccinated, you still have to show evidence of a negative test within a couple of days before you come back, and you have to get tested before you come back to the U.S. as well.
Even if you're going on a boat?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. If you're going over and staying on your boat, that's a different story. A lot of people go and they just stay in their slip. But if you're getting out and getting on land, then you've got to follow these same procedures.
I don't want to sound like a smart aleck, but how do they know if you've been on land or not? All right, that's a whole nother story. But I see where you're coming from, though. So they're still very cautious over there, much more than we are over here, and that you just have to be aware of that, I guess. So I would imagine that the majority of the people that go over there, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm thinking that the majority of the people that go over there, they go to stay, they fish, and then they go on land. So if you're doing that and you're staying at a hotel or something, there's, they know that you are on land, and you'll have to be tested before you come back. Carolyn had a unique experience where she went to Mexico. Carolyn, the Mexico trip.
Yes, Elima Harris. I was lucky to go there for a quick couple of days, and going there was very simple. I was surprised, and even coming back, we were able to find a person to. The regulation just started to swab us, and pretty much flew right back to the or drove right back to the airport. Gave the information to the ticket counter agent, and just came on back in. So I was surprised how easy it was to get in, and a little bit of difficulty getting back out.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was you got out okay, but when you came back.
Oh, I know. Oh, it was coming in. It was the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol because our trip was so short. They thought that we might have been carrying things we shouldn't have been carrying. So they pulled us aside for 3.5 hours and went through everything from our toothpaste tubes to it was amazing.
Wow.
Actually, it was pretty uncomfortable because it took us as U.S. citizens. We felt pretty bad that we were in lines that were hours and hours long that were, checking folks that were from out of the country. So we didn't think we were really treated the way we should have been, actually. But yeah, it took us longer to get through customs and fly.
And that was my point. You got out okay, but coming back, they created havoc. And
havoc, yes.
And I can see where that possibility could be happening if they're coming back on a private yacht or a vessel of some sort. From there, coming back to Florida, I could see where that could create an issue. Have you run into that, Brett? Have you run into what she's talking about? It was easy to get in there, and then when you come back, it's more of a problem coming back than it was going over there.
Yeah, I personally have not, but in this position with the magazine, I do interact with a lot of people that go back and forth, and I have interactions with Bahamian law enforcement and U.S. Coast Guard and other folks here that are involved with that because they're trying to keep us updated and help get the word out.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was just a situation where, you mentioned how do they know? The rules for checking in over there, it's not that difficult to do. It's pretty straightforward. And like I said, the app that, that CBP Rome really makes it coming back very much stress-free.
Mm-hmm.
The Bahamas is trying to catch up. They have a program there called Click to Clear. That theoretically soon will be set up so that it's the same sort of thing. You can do it all online and through your app and just go in and show it to them and they'll pick up a barcode or whatever and you pass through. It's not quite there yet. And, Carolyn and Bruce were telling a story when Bruce was checking us in. He tried to do the Click to Clear on their side, but it just was too many pages that weren't working and ended up going the old-fashioned way. And he said there was folks in there that tried to do the Click to Clear and it just wasn't ready yet. They had to go the old-fashioned way themselves. But what I was getting to was, our relationship with the Bahamas as a state and as a country here, we try to be as compliant as we can, and we have these rules, the Lacey Act that involves, fishermen activities going back through there and our crossing borders and complying with each other's fisheries laws. It wasn't that long ago, just a couple of months, that a boat that went over to fish in Cay Sale out of the Keys illegally, didn't check in, and were intercepted on the way back. And the guy got a $25 fine for his trouble. But they also confiscated his $200,000 brand new boat.
Oh.
So it's, the laws for abiding by the rules for the fishing, agreements, it's important that you follow that, not only for yourself so you avoid that kind of heartache, but the more people that are compliant with these rules, the easier it is for those of us that are compliant to pass through. There's less reason for them to suspect activity, and the more open the Bahamian and other governments are going to be to us going over and enjoying those waters.
So if somebody goes over there on a private vessel, their responsibility is, how do they know where to go? So you're leaving here and you're headed for the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your vessel can make the trip. That's out of the question. The question is, I'm there, where do I go? How do I know where to go? Who do I see?
Yeah, so you have to check in. Now, technically, you have to check in through their immigration and customs before you even fish in their waters.
Oh, wow.
You have to,
okay, so
when you first go over there,
where do you go?
Apply the yellow. Well, you have to go to there's different ports of entry there that are easy enough to find on, we should probably post that on our Florida Sportsman page too, but the Bahamian government page, you could just Google search that and it tells you it'll show you where your closest points of entry once you get over there are. Mm-hmm. Your first stop. Some hotels and resorts, if you're booking through a resort, they actually have them on site. But others, there's a couple of spots in Bimini you can check. There's one down in Cat Island, just south of there. There's a couple in West End. But that should be your first stop once you go over to clear customs and immigration. As you kind of go into their port, you're supposed to show a yellow flag that says you're on your way to check in, and you're playing by the rules. And then once you check in, you take down the yellow flag and you put up the Bahamian flag. and then that shows that you've done your part.
Oh.
Now, again, technically, you should not be fishing in their waters until you've gone in and cleared customs and immigration. They could come out, theoretically, and search your boat to make sure that you haven't done any fishing on the way over there.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's good to keep in mind once you're heading over there, your mission is to get over there and sign in and get that paperwork done, and then you're free and clear.
Yeah, it's just like you said earlier, it's just easier to do it right to begin with. Everybody's happy. It makes for less headaches, a lot less headaches that way. Well, I appreciate you sharing that with us because I learned quite a bit from that. I wasn't aware of some of that stuff, and it's going to be helpful for those who are as well that are listening, and we'll put it as well on the archives. If they missed any of it, they can always go back to the archives and catch up on it. I appreciate it, Brett, and I wish you an awesome day, what's left of it here. Thank you kindly for your time, and I'm looking forward to having an update on the lagoon. When's the next fishing tournament that or is there going to be one this year?
Well, we have the tournament season is just really picking up, and we have, through our app, we've got around 20 or 25 running at any given weekend at ianglertournament.com. The one that we've got going on right now it supports the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation, and it's a nationwide tournament, and it's only $25 to enter, and I believe you get a $25 gift card back.
Wow.
To West Marine once you've registered, and it includes freshwater and saltwater species, and that's the All-American Fishing Tournament. All the proceeds go to the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation, and it's a great family event. Like I said, there's people fishing that in Idaho and New York, and the majority of us are here from Florida. But that'll be going on through August. I think it ends in September, and you can find that at ianglertournament.com, or just go to the NPCF website and look at their events to find that one.
Cool.
Locally, we don't have a whole lot of tournaments coming up, but happy to come on and let you know when we got something coming up that our local anglers can get involved with.
Well, I appreciate it, my friend, and a lot of useful information in that short period of time that we had to spend with you. It went flying as usual. That's what happens when you have a good time. Before you know it, you blink.
Glad to hear Betty, too. She's a friend of mine. I've helped her with some of her events. And before I jump out, I just want to give one more shout-out to Power Cat Marine down in Fort Lauderdale. That was the group that hosted the Cat and Around Bimini, and just a great production there with Carol and Bruce and Bruce's brother Frank. Great fishermen. And great folks down there. I had a great trip.
Well, thank you, my friend.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah, absolutely. We were lucky to fish his boat and have Captain Bruce run the boat for a recent tournament we did called the Trash Can Slam. So, he's great to get out there and fish, and he was stuck with 6 girls all day. He did a great job.
I'm sure he didn't mind that one bit.
All right, here we go. Thank you, Brett.
Don't go away.
Thanks very much.
Right back.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped. Even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion. Air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Club, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Club has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclub.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Club. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun. Oh, I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. It has caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah, fishing and blowing on.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show. Thank you for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. This morning, my co-host is Carolyn with Atlas Trax. If you want to protect what you love to the max, you got to talk to Carolyn at Atlas Trax. Let me get her back on the board here and open the board back up. Here we go. Welcome back, Miss Carolyn.
Absolutely. Usually the one I'm muting myself.
And I think we have our next guest on. That's Mark. And welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Mark. You're a little. Let me turn you down a little bit. You're a little bit on the loud side. I don't know why you come in so proud there. My goodness. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good, Carolyn.
Good, Mark. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while, Carolyn.
Yeah, that's a lot better
absolutely. Now. I know you've been out fishing.
Yeah, we stay pretty busy out there. Get out there as much as we can.
And what's going on out there?
Tell us about some of the tournaments.
What's that?
Tell us about some of the tournaments you've been doing.
Well, I started fishing with a team called Young Guns Fishing about a year ago, and we fish a series called the Meat Mayhem Pro Series, which is a travel tournament. We had our first leg down in Key West in January. Then we had a second leg in Clearwater. The third leg was in St. Augustine. And in about a month from now, we've got the fourth leg in Nags Head, North Carolina. And then in November, we've got the fifth and final leg in Biloxi, Mississippi. So we've been doing a little bit of traveling with that one.
Wow!
But right now we're in first place in the series by a small margin, just about 3 pounds. But hopefully we can keep it up for the rest of the season and come out on top.
Tell us about some of the big kingfish that you catch, because you guys are always in the photos and you're always on the scales.
Yeah, we took first place in the Clearwater leg. We caught a 55-pound kingfish on the pro day, which is a Friday, to take first in that. And then they have the open day, which anyone can fish, on Saturday, the following day. And we ended up catching a 51-pound king day to take first place. So we doubled it up with 2 wins. over
Wow.
there in Clearwater.
Some serious
it was
fish.
a very, very good week.
That's a seriously big fish. Good gosh. Wow. You're like a magnet
And
for
tell-
the big boys.
Yeah, and Mark, tell our listeners what kind of boat you fish on.
We're fishing on a one-of-a-kind 43-foot Midnight Express that's been built strictly for fishing. It's powered by quad Mercury Verado 400s.
Oh my God.
The boat is outstanding. It's the rougher it gets, the better the boat rides. It's just something that you would have to try to really understand how that boat works. A lot of the boats that they make are technically what people call sandbar boats, where they run out and they sit there and hang out on the sandbar all day. This one was built purely for fishing.
Wow.
So it is a one-of-a-kind boat.
And when you're moving from one place to another, are you trailering the boat, or are you chartering there? Or I don't know what the right word.
Sometimes we trailer, sometimes we just run the boat. When we went to Key West, we ran the boat down there. But when we go on the longer trips, we do put it on the trailer and we tow it.
Now that would be a sight to see. Do you have to have a special permit to be able to pull it? Do you have to have a special permit to get it out?
The owner does have one. You need a wide load banner.
Yeah.
A lot of times we have a follow-up truck behind us.
Right.
With flags, and it looks pretty official when you're going down the road.
And Riscala, what's really cool about the Young Guns fishing team, we've mentioned it before, it's a father-son team. So the son is Young Guns too, who's Hunter Irving, and he's the young gentleman who caught the state record swordfish not too long ago.
Awesome.
So it's another one of those, we love talking about fishing, how it's instilled from father to son, and
Yeah.
both tournament fishing, both do really well.
That warms the heart, man. It's the family thing. I love it. That's great. That's
Yeah.
one of my passions.
Hunter is a phenomenal fisherman. He's 18 years old, and as Carolyn just said, I believe it was January, he caught the new state record swordfish along with 3 of his friends. It was 767.8 pounds.
Wow.
Right.
It was fish was big.
Wow. My goodness.
And this is also public information, so I don't mind sharing it. Hunter's also been battling different types of cancers all his life as well. So
Oh, my goodness.
he not only is a tough kid, he's been doing this for years and years and years. The fishing gets him out on the water and makes him forget about that. But, Hunter and Lance and Mark and all these guys are phenomenal fishermen. If you go to Young Guns Fishing, you could see all the stuff they get.
Was that younggunsfishing.com? Is that what?
On Facebook, I believe it's Young Guns Fishing, right?
Young Guns Fishing. Yeah, Hunter has his battles that he's doing, and I will say he is the strongest kid / person that I have ever known.
Wow.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
It's inspiring to hear the background that having to go through such a devastating thing, but yet not allow it to stop you from living. It's inspiring to other people.
Yep.
Right.
Now,
Awesome.
here's another thing too: is Mark is doing all the fishing. Again in spare time, he's also a small business owner as well. He does the pool leak detection for stuff.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is fishing is not full time. This is a full time hobby, and then you have the full time work. So he's going 24/7, and he has a young son. So
awesome.
Yes, it keeps me busy. I've been in the pool industry since 1992. I've been here with this company now a little over 15 years. I am the license holder for the company. So there's a lot of things that I take care of other than just my regular work with the company. But it's called Florida Leak Locators. We're located in Pompano Beach. And we cover pretty much from South Miami to Jupiter. Any pool or spas that are leaking, that's what we do.
I've always wondered how, if it's a crack in the pool, that's pretty obvious. But how do you find it when it's not visible? What do you do when it's like a pipe that's underground somewhere?
We use sound equipment, and if we can't hear it in the pool with the sound equipment, we can pressurize the lines, and we'll figure out what line is broken. Then we'll pressurize it. We'll use a mixture of water and nitrogen, and we actually can listen through the deck, through the pool deck, to pinpoint within 12 inches of where it's broken.
That's crazy. That reminds me of Carolyn's Atlas Trax. We can find you anywhere than 10 feet in the planet.
I hate to tell you that both Lance and Hunter have Atlas Trax trackers for safety. And in one case, Hunter ran out of gas offshore, and Dad was able to go figure out where he was. So that was
awesome.
I appreciate that. So
Wow.
Don't worry, Mark. I won't tell where your fishing spots are.
Yeah, we just did the saltwater slam a couple of weeks ago, the second leg of that one, and we got blessed and took another first place in that. So we ran up to Jupiter first thing in the morning. We were there at 7:20, and lines in were at 7:30. So we fished from 7:30, and then by 9 o'clock we had our 4 weighable kingfish for the scales, and we decided we were going to make a run. So from Jupiter, we ran down to Fowey Rock down in Miami, which is about a 90-mile run. That's where we found our four. Yeah, we make some long runs.
Wow.
But the boat handles it, and it does well. So we found our 4 blackfin tunas down there, and we were able to upgrade one of our kingfish, catch one that was a little bigger than what we already had. We ended up doing that, and we came back up to Boca Inlet to come inside to go to the weigh-ins. So we ran well over 200 miles that day on the boat.
Wow.
But it was worth it.
Do you have to fuel up on a long run like that, or you have enough gas?
The boat will hold 600 gallons of fuel. So it's made for long runs.
I was drinking coffee when you said that. Holy smokes. Wow.
Yeah, well.
600 gallons. My goodness.
You don't always use 600 gallons, but some of the runs that we do, especially when you're fishing on the West Coast, West Coast of Florida, you're running 100, 120, 130 miles one way to get to a spot to fish in.
Yeah. That's crazy on the other
we're
side.
Accustomed to it's a long ways, but we're accustomed to making those long runs. For us to run from Jupiter down to Fowey, it's just another tournament day for us.
That is amazing. I wasn't ready for 600 gallons. I'm thinking, well, he's probably got about 300, several hundred gallons. No, 600. Lord have mercy. Wow, some serious cruising. That.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the name of the boat was what?
Young Guns.
Young Guns. And who was the manufacturer? Who made it?
What's that?
Who made it?
It's made by Midnight Express. They're based out of Miami.
And the reason why I was asking is that name is not familiar. Are they relatively, generally speaking, a new company? How old are they?
No, they've been around for many, many years.
Really?
Rascalo, the style of the boat, the Homeland Security used to use the 39-footers for their apprehension boats. So if you think about a Homeland Security style boat, curvy and long, that's what it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
The reason I was asking is many, many years ago I worked with the 3M company, and they had a unique product for the marine industry, and I worked with quite a few of the manufacturers down there. I just don't remember them. Of course, I can't remember why I walked into the next room, so that doesn't surprise me. It's the joys of getting older. They just don't ring a bell.
It's a very popular, and I hate to use the term sandbar boat, but they wanted to build a fishing boat, so they got in touch with Lance, and Lance has had very good. He's done very well over the years in tournament fishing. So they've discussed it, and he planned out a boat. They made it. That is our top sponsor is Midnight Express, and along with Mercury, and it's just the boat ride's unbelievable.
I had the privilege of watching them, different manufacturers build boats. There's a unique skill behind building these boats. I mean, I watched them build Bertram Yachts. I watched them build Mako Marine. There's several others that don't come to mind, but they're all there in the general area. And there's a special skill behind it that is required. I can't imagine how much time went into this thing in order to get it to come out the way that you want it. That's pretty cool. It brings back memories, especially the tours through Bertram Yacht. They build some pretty big vessels, and we get to see literally from A to Z on what they were doing from the time that the thing was started, and then we would get to see some of them that were getting near completion. And this is back in probably late 80s. And back then there was, I think it was a 2 or 3 year waiting period for some of these boats.
There's a 2-year waiting period on the 43-foot Midnight Express boats right now.
Wow.
I mean, even with all the modern technology that we have to speed up different processes, they've been so busy trying to build boats. There's about a 2-year waiting list for one.
My goodness.
So, yeah, the team there's several different videos on YouTube. If you were to YouTube the name, Young Guns Fishing, and different stuff that we do while we're out there. But we've got a good group of guys on the boat. Everyone gels together very well.
Makes all the difference.
That's a huge part of tournament fishing, is having that team that is family. Everyone gets along.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
All right, my friend. Well, this is what happens. A blink of an eye, and that slot is up. I can't believe how fast it's going.
All right.
But I do thank you. I greatly appreciate you sharing with us. I'm going to go check it out as soon as we get off with the show today. I want to go take a look and see this vessel. 43 foot. Sounds like an awesome boat.
It's beautiful. Very, very happy to be a part of it.
Wow, and we're happy to have you on and share with us. I really mean that. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we'll see you at one of these captain parties. And sorry it took so long to see you after have to get you on the radio, but we'll be around.
No worries. I'm always here. Just give me a holler.
Good. Tight line.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Brett. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye. You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show. We'll be right back.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Being a dad is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise?
Surprise! Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on. When the sun shines all day,
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida show. And there's a lot of different ways you can hear us. The easiest of all of those ways, download our app. It's absolutely free. You can find it in the major play stores under WTM Radio. And again, no push notifications, no adware, no spyware, none of that stuff. Just an easy way to listen to the network and, of course, hopefully our show. And we thank you for doing that. We thank you for joining us. This morning I have Carolyn. Carolyn is with Atlas Trax. If you want to protect what you love to the max, you got to talk to Carolyn at Atlas Trax. Welcome back, Miss Carolyn.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
You sound like you're back in a barrel. Where'd you go?
No, I'm here. Is that better? Hold on one second.
There was a lot of
There
noise
you
in
go.
the
Is that
background. Yeah, much better. Yeah, it was a lot
Okay,
of noise
sorry.
in there. All right, so let me welcome our next guest, and that's Pam Wars. Pam is one of the top lady female anglers here in Florida. She likes to use the kayak. She's right there literally at the water's edge, if you will, and very many unique, different experiences to share with us. Good morning, Miss Pam. You got a little bit of noise in the background there.
Good morning. Can y'all hear me okay?
Good, Carolyn.
Okay, great. I'm on the road. I'm coming back from Navarra, which is next to Pensacola. We had a big kayak tournament up there, over 100 boats. Major snapper were caught, and I think close to 40-pound cobia was also landed. Great tournament. It was so much fun.
Are you on a speakerphone?
Oh, yeah, let me try to take it off. Hold on.
Yeah.
Is it getting that feedback?
You get a lot of background noise.
There, is that better?
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, that cut out some of that background noise. You there?
It was a great tournament. I'm sore. I mean, the waves were incredible. We did have some people, as we affectionately call it, turtle, on the way out and the way in. They just weren't used to that kind of surf. But I took brand new for offshore, and I let her decide if she was going to launch or not. And she made it out, caught fish, and made it back in, and they nicknamed her Badass Barb.
So this is on the West Coast, right, Pam?
It's in the Panhandle. It's right next. Navarra is just east of Pensacola.
Yeah, I remember the area. The reason why I'm asking is I saw a post. I don't know if it's still active or not, but there were the beaches had double red flags, which means it's extremely dangerous. They don't even want you going in the water. Is that what was going on while you were up there? You were having a pretty harsh conditions.
It was challenging.
Yeah.
It was not for the meek. It was not for somebody who didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, one guy, I felt really bad for him. He did make it through the surf. He flipped once.
Ooh.
And we had the guys from Keith Morrison had his Army guys up there because it's a big Air Force naval base up here.
Yep.
They brought a bunch of volunteers out, and those guys were helping to steady the kayaks and give us a big push, right when it was clear. You have sets of waves, and then it's calm for a second, or relatively calm.
Yeah.
Well, they would help hold the kayak in position and help give it a shove to give you some momentum to get over the waves.
Wow.
So that was a big shout-out to him. He did a great job.
Wow.
But yeah, it was not for the faint of heart. Like I said, one guy went out, he flipped, they finally got him out. He got out there about 20 minutes and came back in and said he'd never been more seasick in his life. I felt so bad for him.
I have to tell you, Pam, if you haven't heard about this event, right now going on is a paddleboard event from Bimini to Lake Worth, Florida, which is 82 miles. There's 100 paddleboarders, 80 or 60 support boats with my Atlas Trax trackers on them. And it's so rough that some people turned around and went back to Bimini. Some people came straight through to Fort Lauderdale. And there's still about 40 boats and about 80 paddlers still working their way across the Gulf Stream right now with pretty bad weather.
Wow. I remember that from a couple years ago, and that's something I wanted to do, but I did not want to do it in a paddleboard.
Yeah.
I would do that in my kayak and hang with them, but I would not want to do it in a paddleboard.
Which you can, by the way. You can do your kayak. They have some ocean rescue skiffs. They have a couple of the Hawaiian pontoon boats. They have a couple of people on bicycle paddlecraft. So you can do it.
Did I lose you?
No, we're still here. We're hearing you.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You could definitely do it in your kayak.
Yeah, she was saying you can do it in your kayak.
Yeah, that would be fun. I would definitely do something like that.
You got a year to think about it.
You know, I don't want to look at rollers. I don't want to look at, to be honest, I don't want to look at big waves again. It reminded me, remember when I came back from the Bahamas that one year, and it was just totally horrible? We were in 6 to 12 foot waves. Well, there were, and it felt like a roller coaster. Well, there are a couple out there yesterday that I'm thinking to myself, you know, flashback of the Bahamas.
Oh, wow.
You would get on a spot, you know, for snapper, you really have to look at the bottom. So you have a really strong wind and you have a strong current. So you drift over and find hard bottom to drop for snapper. And by the time you either brought your snapper in or they got your bait and you had to put another bait on, it took you another 20, 30 minutes to try to find that spot again.
Oh, my
You're
gosh.
blown off that much. Yeah.
Wow. I don't.
But,
That doesn't
offshore,
that doesn't sound like fun to me.
It was. It's like you challenge yourself.
Well,
but
that's
I
true.
had been up there 3 weeks before to pre-fish. The weekend that snapper season opened, got a couple monster snapper, and it was like glass. It was it was like a lake. We launched in a lake.
I love that.
You know how the ocean is. You can just never tell.
Yeah, I love
And
it when it's like that.
It was supposed to be Father's Day, but we had that tropical storm come through, so that's why it's this weekend.
My goodness. So are you headed back to Tampa now?
Yeah, I'm on what am I on? I-10,
What am I on?
headed toward Tallahassee.
Oh my goodness! Wow. So
Yeah.
are you done for the day?
Am I what?
Are you done for the day? You're just gonna
I'm
go
done.
home and relax?
There's not a muscle in this old lady's body that isn't between getting the kayak down the beach, getting through the surf, which is such an adrenaline rush. You know, you've got all your instincts are high alert, plus your muscles are tense because you're tense. So you're putting all that extra strain on your body. And then when you come back in, this is a trick that not everybody knows. But if you're coming back in and it's bad surf, some people think that they just ride it in, which is wrong. What you want to do is jump out of your kayak, okay, and hold on to the back of the kayak. And that acts like a water sock, and it keeps the nose of your kayak toward the beach. And it just literally drags you. You come in with the surf, and it drags you in, and there's nothing wrong at all. I mean, it was great. It was really kind of fun. It cooled me off.
No, there's something I had no idea. So when you jump out, what is it, like waist-high water?
I waited just until probably 5 feet before the breaker line because I didn't want to get caught.
We lost her.
Yeah, I think we all
You got
lost
me?
her for a second.
You faded
Got you
out.
back.
You said you waited just
Am I back?
Yeah, you said 5 feet before the breaker
I jump
line.
out about I jump out about 5 feet before they break because you don't want to get caught in the breakers. That's where you lose control of your kayak. Or even on those videos on the qualified captain, you lose control of your boat.
Yeah.
And you jump in, you hold on to the back of your kayak, and that keeps the nose toward the beach. And it's real easy. You just kind of cruise in with the boat. But the Army guys, too, were so cool. They'd go out there, and one guy would grab the nose of your boat and help bring it in.
Oh.
And one of the guys goes, well, you can stand here. You can let go of the back of your boat. And I looked at him and I went, heck no. I go, I'm riding all the way in. Are you kidding? But it was a lot of fun. It was fun afterwards at the after power and the weigh-in. Even if you didn't catch fish, they had a way for you to win certain prizes and, you know, handoffs and gifts and stuff like that. It was probably the most fun tournament I fished all year. It was so much fun.
Wow.
And I would say probably more than 80% of the people that went out caught fish. And not just junk fish, you know, dinner, snapper, red snapper.
Oh, my.
A couple of groupers, big cobia, big kings. And it was a couple of dolphin. Oh, Molly. No, nobody caught flipper. Everybody be cool. But, it was just.
Now,
it
I'm
was so much fun.
surprised that you're telling me mahi on that side of the state because it's not very deep, right, where you guys are fishing?
I was in 64 feet of water.
64?
That's right.
Okay.
That's the one thing. That area of the Panhandle, they call it the Emerald Coast, also gets deep really, really quickly. I mean, I only had to go out a couple miles to be in 64 feet of water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember because I lived there for a brief period. I was stationed in Tyndall. We used to have to, if you wanted to get to 30 feet of water, you had to go out like 30 miles. I'm not exaggerating. It was like it dropped a foot a mile or something like that.
Most of the West Coast is like that, but between Destin and Pensacola, it's not like that. It drops deep fast. And what Navarre did is they, about 5-6 years ago, the city sunk a boat and put out artificial reefs, like they almost look like pyramids, and started artificial reefs out there, which brought all the snapper in, which also, first it brought in bait fish, then the snapper, then you've got all the kings that are coming in after the bait fish, and they've really developed an amazing fishery for anglers, and especially kayak anglers, to be able to just have to go a couple miles out and get on big snapper. I'll send you a picture. My buddy, I've talked about him before, Brian Melly, and he's over by you. He fishes, he's one of the top offshore anglers, and fishes he's a guide out of Boynton Beach.
Oh.
He caught 2 snappers that are half the size of his body. I know. I was happy with mine that were like 5-6 pounds. His have got to be close to 20 pounds, maybe even more. Because I came in all excited. Yeah, I got this one. And he showed me his, and I went, yeah.
Never mind. You kind of put your head down, your tail between your legs. Never mind. Walk away.
You know what? I'm very proud of myself and Barb. We were one of the, as lady anglers, we both made it out. We both caught fish, and we both made it back without flipping. So I'm very, very proud of that fact. Plus, I'm probably was the oldest angler out there. So I felt really good about that I made it out, caught fish that a bunch of kids that were like in their 20s and 30s couldn't do. So I felt really good about that.
Welcome to my world when it comes to the oldest.
I know. But
that doesn't stop us,
so
though, right?
Fun.
It doesn't stop you. It might slow you down a little bit, but it doesn't stop you. You can get right out there and go. I love it.
What's that one song? I can't do it like as many times as I used to.
Yes,
but I can still do it
There's a country
as good
song
once or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not as good as I always was, but I'm good once as I always or something.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Well, I'm having fun.
Good.
Right now is some of the best fishing out there. Again, I'm on the West Coast. I'm headed back to Tampa next weekend, 4th of July weekend. I'm back out on a private boat. We're going to go get some more snapper. I mean, the season is short, so fresh snapper is being one of the best eating fish.
Oh my goodness, my mouth is watering just thinking about that.
I'm pretty excited about that. My reels, I used the new BGMQ. I love it. It was awesome. And my other reel was a Saltiga, the brand new Saltigas that are out. Oh, nothing got away. I missed one fish, and it was my own fault. The only thing I did catch that got away, are you ready for this? I don't understand this. It's been highly publicized that the kayaks were going to be out there. We had an area that we basically were going to stay in. We had a captain, and I got his picture, and I'm not going to mention his name, literally, he couldn't have been 10 yards behind me. And when you run a flat line, your flat lines are easily, 100 yards sometimes behind you?
Yeah.
Well, he caught the BG because I had a flat line on that, looking for kings.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I thought I had a big fish because it went flying, I had 400 yards, a 65-pound braid on. He spooled almost all of it before I could cut my line.
Oh, my gosh.
He came up right behind me with his outriggers and stuff and caught my line. Why would you do that when you see 15, 20 kayakers? Why would you get that close to them?
Why would you even be in the area? Leave them alone. My gosh, It's pretty obvious that something's going on in the area. Why would you want to get involved in any of that? And you got that's something I've never really understood. It was quite common down in Miami. we would experience things like that. We'd be out in the ocean, for God's sake, and we'd find something floating, and we would start fishing, and out of nowhere, people would start showing up. It was like, hey, it's a party, everybody join. You got all these other places all the places you got to come bug us. It's a little irritating because then the consideration factor seems to disappear. It's like, oh, everybody for themselves at that point. Whatever we can catch, that's just sad. Yeah.
Especially trolling. I mean, they're high seas anyway, okay? So it was kind of choppy out there anyway. And to have his boat wake and to have him trolling that close to the other kayak was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just not necessary. Inconsiderate. Yeah. Hopefully Carm will catch up to him.
I wanted to post his boat so badly, but I thought that would be bad karma.
Yeah. No. Well, my friend, our slot is up, and I want to say thank you. And if you want to know more about Pat, you can listen to me, Pat. Lord have mercy. If you want to know more about Pam, you can find her on one of the places as Facebook. It's WIRTH, Pam Wirth. She's one of the top lady female anglers here in Florida that uses a kayak. Lots of stuff. When you were talking about your friend that caught the snapper half his size, I'm thinking about that picture we used to have up on our Facebook page. She's in her kayak, and she's got a hold of a sailfish, and the sailfish is about the size of the kayak. And
that was awesome.
It's an awesome picture, but that's what I was thinking of when you mentioned your friend would, a fish half his size. Well, here was a fish that was almost the length of the kayak that she was in. Amazing stuff. Well, thank you, my dear. I wish you an awesome day and get some rest. And we'll be looking forward to having you. Always a pleasure to have you on. Be looking forward to having you on again.
Thank you for the invitation. You're always so kind and generous with your time. So thank you so much.
God bless you,
Carolyn,
dear.
I'm so sorry I missed you when I was down there a few weeks ago. Rain check, lady, okay?
Rain check, you got it. And I don't know if you'll be at ICAST, but we're going to be there for a day or two.
Absolutely, I'll be at ICAST. I don't know if I'm going to be there Wednesday or Thursday yet, but I'm definitely going to be there at least one day. So I've got your phone number now, so I'm going to stay in touch, and I'll try to holler when I know which day it'll be, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be great. There'll be Wanda, Terry, there's Stacy, Fretina. There'll be a whole bunch of girls there.
Okay, because I talk about your product to everybody. Trust me. And also, I heard you had Young Guns on. One of the first people I fished with was Doug Perez, and I think he helped start Young Guns. I love Doug.
Wow. Look at that. Small world. Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, God bless you, dear. Wish you an awesome day.
Take care.
All right. And I think we have our next guest on. It looks like we have our next guest on, and that's Stacy. She's up. I think she's up in the north part of Florida as well. Good morning, my dear.
Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
Good, Stace. I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks.
I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks. It's going to be awesome.
Yep, absolutely. And I got a couple goodies for you. I'll be giving them to you when I see you.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
So how's the fishing been where you are at, my dear?
Well, I've been a little bit more than just Florida, but the fishing has been really good. We've had some great tournament days. We've fished it out in the rain all day, but we've been doing really good and having some great time on the water and looking ready to get back on the water in a couple more weeks where we're going to have about 4 weeks of tournaments back to back with ICAST in the middle of all of that. So we've got a busy schedule coming up.
Are you guys, because I think you're in the same area, our previous guest, Pam Wirth, she was up, I think, near you. She's in Navarre. Are you experiencing severe water conditions up there? I can't think of the right, marine conditions up there?
No, I wouldn't say we had any severe marine conditions like down in South Florida. No, sir.
No? Okay, because I had a friend of mine was telling me they wanted to go swimming earlier in the week, last week, and they said they had double flags up at Panama City. And because of severe water. And I just wondered, and I know you're a little northwest of Panama City, right? Fort Walton, is that where you're at in Fort Walton? You're in that area?
That's correct. Yes, sir. What we had Tropical Storm Claudette come down on us pretty quick. I don't think anyone expected that. But that came in Friday night, all of Saturday. And then we continued to have just torrential downpour Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So it was Wednesday before we actually saw sunshine over here.
Oh, my goodness. So much for the Sunshine State.
Yes, it happens every now and then, doesn't it?
So you mentioned that you've been out of Florida. Where all did you go?
So I fished Texas, Louisiana and Florida on the Redfish Tour. So, we've been mostly over in Louisiana. There's been a few tournaments in Texas, but we're gearing up to get ready to do Myrtle Grove, Louisiana with a professional redfish league. And then right after that, I'm coming straight to Fernandina Beach. I'm so excited to fish that area. That's the same week of ICAST. So I'll be at ICAST at the beginning of the week, and then we'll be battling it out for that professional redfish league on Friday and Saturday over in Fernandina Beach. Then we go to Texas the week after that. Then we're over here in my home, in Florida.
You're not wasting any time, are you?
No, not wasting any time.
Wow.
They seem to have kind of back to back,
Go ahead, Carolyn. Are you there, Carolyn? She put her phone on mute. That's what happened. She'll put her phone on mute so we don't pick up the back.
You're right. There you go. and not to mention that Stacy is like the only female angler in this series, which is pretty cool. And correct me if I'm wrong, Stacy, you have to actually launch your own boat, right?
Well, for the Elite Fishing League series that we do, it's a one-man, and I am the only lady that is currently fishing on the Elite Fishing League one-man series. Last year I did the Discovery, and this year they're having a series of tournaments where you go out and fish the one-man style tournament. So I am currently doing that. I would love to see some other ladies come in and join me on this adventure, and we're hoping in 2022 we've got some new options to fish the one-man style tournament. So I am currently the only woman. It's a little bit of a challenge. It's a little bit more difficult than what people realize, whether you're female or male. It's just a hard experience because you're on the boat by yourself. You have no one else to help you launch the boat, to know where you're fishing, to lean on. Do you think we should move here? What's the tide doing? All these different factors really play a huge role in going out and fishing.
And launching by yourself, that's a challenge all in and of itself.
Well, it takes a little bit longer by yourself, but it can be done. It definitely can be done, and it's a lot easier when you have somebody to just back the boat, the trailer up, and you just pull it off real quick, and they go park it for you, and you just wait for them. So it can be done. It took a little while to learn it, but when you realize it's just you and you have nobody else, and you've got to figure out a way to do it, then that's what you've got to do. But I will tell you something. I don't know if you've ever seen the Minn Kota commercial, but the Minn Kota commercial, the guy takes a bass boat and he launches it by himself, and he drops that trolling motor, and then he just pulls it up to the dock. The last tournament I was fishing over in Louisiana with my partner, he actually did that, and I really didn't know he was going to do it. I was getting ice or something, and when I came out, here comes the boat, the Simmons Custom boat, coming off the trailer, and he's dropping the trolling motor, and he's bringing it to the dock, and I managed to snatch my phone out real quick and start videoing, and I thought to myself, if I could learn to do that myself, wouldn't that be something? If I rolled up to a tournament back then and did that all by myself, it would be pretty awesome.
Hot dog.
Especially since I'm on the Minn Kota iPilot on my boat.
Awesome. How big is the boat?
The boat's 24-foot Simmons Custom boat. Currently, I'm driving the Revolution.
That is a challenge.
For one of his new boats. He's got a new boat that just came out, the Signature, and I'm really excited about getting into that boat hopefully next year.
There were times when I had a 24-foot Wellcraft many years ago, and there were times I just couldn't find anybody to go fishing, and I wanted to go fishing, doggone it, and I pulled it down there and put it in by myself. It was a challenge. It was a real challenge to get it in, and I didn't have the luxury of an electric motor, and it was a challenge. That's the best way. Without using some expletives, it was a challenge. It was a real... but that's what it is. If you want to do it, like you mentioned earlier, you're the only ones around. You want to do it, you're going to have to get it done. You're going to have to face it and go with it. My hat's off to you. I did it one time. I said, I don't care how bad I want to go fishing by myself again. I'm not doing it. It's just too much work for me. So for an individual, and especially a lady, to be able to handle a 24-foot boat and to be able to back it down, get it off the trailer, move the car back up, find a place to park the vehicle and the trailer, come back to the boat, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. So my hat's off to you, my dear. God bless you.
Well, thank you so much. I will tell you that without father raising me to be able to go out there and do these type of things, without the positive motivation to do these things and a little bit of direction. I don't think I did ever jumped off into this. And I started fishing, with a partner, and I still fish with a partner. And so when you've got somebody helping you, it makes it a lot easier. But, today we have things like our power pole shallow anchors.
Yeah.
All that makes a difference. So when you pull the boat off the trailer, you're able to just ease it up to the dock, and you can tie off. But I can drop those power power poles faster than I can tie off, and then I'm able to just jump out and grab my truck real quick and go park it while my boat's secure in place. And for anybody thinking about doing this, it took me going to the launch when nobody else was launching, not at 8 o'clock in the morning, not when everybody's pulling their boat out of the water in the afternoon, going at times when you knew nobody was going to be at the ramp. And then if somebody did come to the ramp, just take your time. Just take your time. Everybody has had to do it one time or another, and just take your time, and eventually, you'll be able to do it. It won't matter if there's 20 boats waiting, you'll be able to do it. And it's a good feeling to accomplish that. And, my dad told me from the very beginning, he said, if you're going to be on this boat, whether you're on a boat with a partner or not, you need to know everything about this boat, and you need to know how to run it, because you never know what kind of emergency is going to happen where you're going to have to be the one, to run this boat. So, that's just what my father instilled in me, and I'm so very blessed to have, a father that believed in, training his children, female or male, to make sure that they could do everything they needed to do.
That's ironic. I played the Being a Dad, and it's a public service announcement. I played that earlier before, and I know you didn't hear that, but it's about being a dad, being involved in with your children, and that's part of the reason that I do what I do. I was very fortunate growing up that my mom loved fishing. I think the only thing that she liked more than fishing was serving people food. She loved doing that. But fishing, she loved fishing, and it was quite common for us to go fishing 3 or 4 times a month. And we would go all over the place. Sometimes it would be in a boat. The majority of the times it would just be a travel. We traveled to I lived in Miami at the time. We'd go to Naples. We'd go down to the Keys. We'd come up to different places around the Palm Beach area, different fishing piers and things like that. But it was very common for us 3-4 times a month. We'd be doing some kind of fishing. And I believe that in that experience, it was a way for our family. I don't want to say it was the glue, but that's the best way I can explain it, because we all had the same experience at the same time, but my dad worked it in such a way that we each had our own part of it. My mom and my dad would catch fish. We'd all catch fish. My brother would scale them. I would clean them. My mom would prep them. My dad would cook them. So everybody was involved some way. And then there were times when we went fishing looking forward. One of my favorite places was Naples. I was looking forward to this fishing trip for several weeks. It seemed like forever before we got there. And we didn't do very good. And I was very disappointed. And my dad pulled me aside. He goes, look, this is like life. This is like a life lesson. This is like life. There's going to be times in life when you plan and you're excited and you just can't wait for this to happen, and it just doesn't go the way that you want it to do. But it doesn't stop you from doing it. You just continue to do it. So again, in my life's experience, fishing has been a really positive thing for our family. And that's something that I try to express to the to the listeners. This is a way for the family to come together. Everybody. There's no age limit on fishing. Even a little toddler, you can take them fishing. So everybody can get involved, and it's a way for everybody to get away from everything, so to speak, and enjoy what God has given us, especially here in Florida. So it's awesome that your dad did that. God bless him.
You're exactly right. And my mom was a big part of that, too. And exactly like you said, on the weekends, we were fishing. We were going scalloping. We were going fishing to the lake, and that's all I knew. Back then I used to think all my friends are staying the night in slumber parties, and they're going to the skating rink, and they're going to the movies. And back then I thought, I liked it, but I was like, I don't get to go do all those things all the time like everybody else. But now looking back, I realized I was doing what was best.
Yeah.
I was doing, I mean, the experiences I had fishing just are, non-replaceable. I mean, I think back, like you said, my mom was cooking brim, and all I could think about is I could not wait till she got done frying that brim, because I loved the tail. I mean, who would have ever thought to eat the tail? It was like eating the best potato chip you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
But we all
crispy.
know how to.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, and that's what I like to share on the show. That this is a way that you can go out, and the whole family can be involved, and you're all sharing the same experience. And through that sharing of that experience is kind of a way to build your relationships and to have a stronger bond with each other, because there's an outright war against families. And it's a whole other subject, but that's the truth of the matter. If you look at our society today, there's an outright war on the nuclear family, the nucleus of the family, to be together. There's just, they don't want that. And I say the people who are profit-driven people, for a variety of reasons. That's a whole other thing, but that really is the truth. There's a war on the family, on a family being able to stick together. This is, again, we talk about small businesses, family-owned businesses. The reason that I help to promote them in whatever way I can is this helps everybody. When you have a society that has a strong family unit, you have a society that is more considerate, a society that is more responsible. It's just better for everybody. And, when you think about it, it's kind of selfish in a way. I'm part of everybody. And that's why I like to do that kind of thing, to be able to promote that kind of thing. And if you look at the years, particularly the last 20 years, that's been on a downward spiral. It hasn't been on an upward spiral. So I want to do whatever I can and share with people whenever possible, like your story with your dad, preparing you for all of this stuff, and the difference that it makes, because it's a lot easier to take care of it when you're a child. It's a lot harder to take care of it once you're an adult and you've had to go through a broken experience that has messed you up so badly that you're trying to overcome it. It's a lot easier to take care of it as a child.
Well, yeah, it applies to all, everything, every aspect in your life. When you're taught to, yes, it's nice to have someone be able to help you do this, but when you realize the things that you can do on your own, if you just, stop, think about it, practice it, and put your mind to it, then it makes you a whole person. In business, in friendship, in relationships, in everything that you do, it makes you a completely different person. When I hook up and I drive 18 hours to South Padre and my husband flies in the night before a tournament, that's because someone like my father has taught me what I need to do if my tire gets, torn to shreds, or make sure that I have staples in my truck, what I need to do. I mean, trust me, it's happened. That I'm going to be safe all the time, not on the side of the road waiting for, somebody to come and help.
I'm laughing. So, I'm laughing only because I have 3 daughters, and I taught each of them how to jack the car up, where to put the jack. If you don't put it in the right spot, you can damage the vehicle. How to jack the car up, how to get the tires off, how to put the... I thought I was the only one doing that kind of thing anymore. That's great. And they didn't want to have anything to do with it, but thankfully one of them did have a flat tire. She went shopping one day and came out and found the tire was flat. And she called me. She said, "Well, I have a flat tire." And I said, "You know what to do. Call me when you're done."
My dad, when I first started, doing this tournament fishing, my dad handed me an old milk crate, and in it had about 4 pieces of chopped wood. My dad's a builder, and so he had, like a 4x4 in there and a couple of other boards in there, and he said, you just stack them up and tear them up, put them right in front of the tire that is good on the boat, pull it up, and he's like, there you go. Then, then I've got my impact. So, I can't tell you how many other people I've helped. And they're like, oh, man, I got a flat tire. I'm like, hey, I got what you need. It's in the back of my truck.
Got to be prepared. Yep.
Yeah,
got to be prepared. Awesome. That's great. Well, I wish you the best. You're going to still be traveling around, I take it, right? You still got a couple of other places that you're headed?
Well, yes. Like I said, July 16th, we'll be heading over to Myrtle Grove, Louisiana for the Professional Redfish League. Then the very next week, I come straight to ICAST in Fernandina. The tournament at the end of that week, then I'm immediately going right back to Louisiana, to Myrtle Grove, for the Redfish World Series qualifier, which I'm really trying to be the first female on the final stage at the Redfish World Series.
Awesome.
And then I'm going to Key West for 10 days, which I'm super excited about for my 20-year anniversary. And then we're just back and forth again. Destin, Florida, then in Texas, and then we're down to Tampa, and it's just tournament after tournament all the way to October. I mean, we've just got a huge list of tournaments that we're fishing, and just really looking to have a great year for my sponsors. 2 of my biggest ones this year, Lithium Pros and Fish Bites, which they will both be at ICAST, and you can catch me in the booth there if you'd like to come by and see me. So just an exciting year ahead of us.
How do people follow you, Stacy? I take it you're on Facebook and Instagram and all the goodies?
I am. I'm on Facebook. It's Stacy Fretina or the Stacy Fretina Fishing. I'm on Instagram, and I've actually started a TikTok and starting to gain some followers on TikTok. That's really a new and upcoming thing. It gives us a chance to show a lot more than just a few seconds of a story. We're able to really show some fishing and things on there. So that's something new that I'm learning and working on, and that's an exciting thing as well. So. They can find me there, or they can reach out to me at my email address, sfretina@gmail.com, if they'd like to get together with me or like to meet me, or, if I'm in their area and they want to come by and see the boat or anything. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you, my dear. I greatly appreciate you taking time to share with us this morning. Very interesting, and brought back some memories for me as well. Especially when you were talking about the flat tire. That really brought back some memories.
It's just part of it. Everybody wants to see the glamorous thing, and they're like, well, what did you catch today? And, we love to catch fish, but, you've got all these other aspects of things that you're dealing with. And, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me if I catch a fish or not. I mean, obviously we all want to win, but just being out in that water and just hearing nature. And people that have not gone out fishing or been on the water just can't even imagine what it's like out there. It takes all the stress away, and you just feel like you're really where you need to be.
I can relate to that. Definitely relate to that. All right, my dear. An awesome day. Wish you an awesome day. What's left of it here. And let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you. We'll take a quick break.
Absolutely, Stace. Be safe, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Carolyn. I appreciate you.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show. We'll be right back.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped. Even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion. Air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. It just caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah, fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah, I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida show. You can stop singing now. Thank you. It is the Fishing in Florida show. Thank you for joining us. A little goofy this morning. I didn't get much sleep last night, like my co-host Carolyn. She got less sleep than I got. I'm amazed she's awake this morning. So let me welcome her back. She is Carolyn with Atlas Trax. If you want to protect what you love to the max, this is the young lady you have to speak with, Carolyn at Atlas Trax. Welcome back.
Yeah, I almost was going to yell at you about that comment. Yeah, it's a little. I think I got about 3 hours of sleep, and that's all throughout the whole night.
Goodness.
But, I could tell you that the first paddle boarders, the fastest paddle boarders, believe it or not, are only about 7 miles off the coast of Lake Worth.
Wow.
And the slowest paddle boarders are going to be having a very long day because they are still get this, they are still 50 miles from the coast.
Wow.
And they're doing 4 miles an hour. Yeah, that's going to be a very long day for them.
It's going to be a long haul. My goodness. Well, let me welcome my next guest, who is always so generous with her time, and she's my favorite. I like to call her the anchor of the show, my most favorite anchor ever. And that, of course, is the Florida Salty Cowgirl, Miss Angelia. Good morning, my dear.
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing this morning?
Excellent, Angela. Nice to. I'm sorry we haven't chit-chatted for a while. It's been a little busy here getting ready for this crossing.
Oh, I know all about the crossing, and I'm wishing all of the paddle boarders a safe journey across, because that's a heck of an undertaking.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, and while I'm thinking about it, before I forget, someone I know and love dearly had a birthday this last week, didn't they?
I wanted to mention that as well. I'm so glad you mentioned it. Anybody who does not know, we are wishing Carolyn a belated happy birthday. She had a birthday a couple of days ago, so anybody who wasn't aware, please, everyone join us in wishing her a very happy belated birthday.
A happy birthday, Carolyn.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I hate to say it, totally forgot already, but that's awesome. Thank you guys. It means a lot to me.
At our age, we start forgetting that, Carolyn.
Walk in from one room to the other and what am I doing? What did I come in here for? I mean, that happens to me all the time. It drives me crazy. Oh, my goodness. So how is it down there in the Keys, my dear?
I tell you what, the last 6 or 8 months, we have had the worst luck with wind. And, of course, it's been a little bit windy this last week. It's been a little bit rainy. Had a charter on Tuesday. I was lucky enough to have my absolute best fishing partner in the world with me to run this charter. So I had a couple gentlemen, young guy and his father, who he took for Father's Day, and they had never been deep sea fishing before ever. So that's really kind of fun. And I really wanted to troll and catch some mahi for them. And I tell you what, before we even got off of the reef, one of the trolling lines got hit with an undersized mahi, like a 17-incher. Wasn't even close. But the thrill in this young man's eyes, just reeling in this beautiful, bright-colored fish, was really, really fun. Then, honestly, guys, we had one of the worst days fishing. There were 3- and 4-foot swells out there all day. The only person who got sick on the boat that day was my beautiful little first mate, Scout. Poor little baby. I got a sick puppy, very, very seasick puppy that day, but she was very well behaved because of it. But what made our day, at the end of the day, we were lucky enough to hook into a barracuda, so the son got to reel in a fish, the father got to reel in a fish. That's always really exciting for us. But sometimes there's just things that happen out there that you don't see unless you're out there a lot. And I've been really, really blessed to see a lot of these gorgeous things happen. But it will absolutely make your trip if you're not catching fish for a client. And it's just one of those days. It's just hard fishing. But we were chasing some birds, and we were offshore a little bit trying to get into some mahi. And we saw a whole flock of frigate birds that were circling and hitting the water. When they're nice and low and they're circling and hitting, there is something going on.
Yep.
So I'm chasing after the frigate birds, and believe it or not, guys, there had to be a pod of a couple dozen dolphins underneath these frigate birds. Wow. And they were hunting like you've never seen these dolphins hunt before. And they even had a very small little baby with them that was probably 2 foot long, that was just playing and jumping in the air and sowing its little oats, which is just the most fun to watch. But in the middle of all this mayhem, all this bait fish popping, this whole pod of dolphins hunting, and the dolphins are running the bait to the top of the water, you can see the frigate birds hitting and flying away with fish in their mouth. It was really exciting. But in the middle of all of this, there's a giant sea turtle just hanging out. And I must have circled this whole display of nature that people don't get to see. I must have circled it 4 or 5 times, because that was the highlight of our trip.
Wow.
And sometimes sometimes Mother Ocean just cooperates with you when you're not having a great fishing day, and you've got these people that are from Oklahoma and they don't get to see these kind of things. So I was really happy. They both got to reel in a fish. Fishing was not great, not for us anyway, but 3 and 4 foot seas are really hard to fish in. And this beautiful National Geographic, 20 minutes that we had in the middle of the day just kind of made the entire day. And to be able to share that with people that are from Oklahoma that don't get to see this kind of thing, that's really exciting for me. It's just really pleasing. So, yeah, fishing's been a little bit rough.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, I've been watching some of the sport fishers that have been going way offshore, and they're coming in with a nice little batch of mahi. I have seen some bigger ones coming in these days, but typically they're catching them just under 10 pounds, and they're catching a nice little haul of them. The big ones have been coming in here and there. I've been seeing them. But believe it or not, one of the boats right across from me in Key Largo here, they went offshore, caught a nice little batch of mahi, but they also caught a small wahoo. Completely not the right time of year.
Wow.
I don't know if they were doing right or wrong, and it wasn't a big one, but it was a nice little one. And what a nice catch for June, the end of June. So hopefully that means we're going to have a fantastic wahoo fall this year.
Sounds like things are for whatever reason, it seems as though, like, especially up here where we're at, the mahis never really left like they typically do. They seem to have been around the entire time. It may have had something to do with, because of the lockdown and the restrictions and all that reduced the amount of stress on the species because there wasn't as many people going out. Whatever the reason is, it seems like, at least this year, right, Carolyn? It seems like they never went away, right? It seems like they've just been here all along.
Yeah, of all sizes. It's kind of a unique.
Yeah, wow.
And we've had those years that are kind of odd because, of course, 2020 we won't talk about. That was my mahi list year. But the year before that, the end of 2019, I can very vividly remember I didn't get back from my summer in Alaska until in September. And I think it was October or November we were trolling, and it was right at sunset. And I mean right at sunset. In a place that we typically wouldn't troll. We were just trying to get another mile or so in before the sun went down. And we hooked up with a double mahi in the end of December. So they do stick around a little bit all year long. You'll be cherry picking them. And at that point, they'd be a bycatch because nobody's really targeting them. But we do have the years that they stick around here all year. Now, the wahoo sticking around and being here in June, that's a little surprising to me, but we have caught them throughout the year, just kind of like I said, cherry picking them, not targeting them. But that's really promising for me to see a small wahoo coming in June. That means hopefully October, November, we should be slamming them, which that's my favorite. But yeah, not a bad day. The weather could be a little bit better down here. We're just waiting for the wind to die down. This week looks a little bit windy again, but yeah, 3 and 4 foot rollers is just not a whole lot of comfort zone there when you're out there offshore trying to troll. But like I said, when you have one magnificent National Geographic moment in the middle of the day with a couple guys
that makes up for it.
Yeah,
that makes up for it. And you know what? There's people who go out on a regular basis and they don't get to see that. It's a rarity for them, So for them to come in from another state, which has nowhere near the ocean, for Pete's sake, to be able to experience the ocean, just the ocean itself, and then be able to see porpoises and a turtle on top of all that, I think that would be awesome for them. I think they're probably very happy before it was all over.
And these dolphins were obviously pulling up the bait into bait balls and fishing and eating. And as they're driving the bait to the surface, like I said, these frigate birds are just going nuts, and they're picking the bait off the surface that dolphins are driving up. So it really was a magnificent scene, and we are super, super blessed because we spend so much time on the water out there that we've been able to see so many amazing things. So when one of those things happens, especially on a bad fishing day, it just makes the whole trip.
Yeah. Were you able to get any video of that?
I was not, because I was at the home and I was trying to stay with them. I was trying to stay with them and stay circling them.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun to see these grown men oohing and eyeing and getting all excited and jumping around and videoing them. And that's really exciting for me because
Wow.
for them to go back to Oklahoma and have that experience is just really, really nice. I love to share those special moments that happen down here.
Hopefully they'll share the video with you.
I hope
Whatever they got.
Yeah, and I've got, like I said, even just that small 17-inch at the fourth mahi, which I could have are you kidding me? But they were so excited with the colors and how pretty the fish was and actually catching a mahi of size or not. It was very exciting for them. So I thought that was really cool. But we are just praying for this wind to lay down and this rain to stop so we can have some good fishing weeks here. It's summertime after all. It should be beautiful. Come on.
Yeah, we spent probably a good week here, every day overcast and windy, every day. I don't know. Carolyn's a little south of me. Has it been the same for you, Carolyn? Every day windy and overcast?
Yeah, well, yesterday was a little sun break during the day, but typically right now I can see some shadows outside.
Yeah, it's
so,
already starting.
absolutely.
It's already starting here. So if you're getting sunshine down there, God bless you. Because we're not getting it on a regular basis up here. Not yet, anyway. For a while there, I thought there was something tropical going on because it didn't let up. It was day in and day out. Every day, overcast. All right, my dear. Well, if anybody wants to get a hold of the Salty Cowgirl, how are they going to do that?
Florida Salty Cowgirl on Facebook, Florida Salty Cowgirl on Instagram. And I know I've been saying this for a long time, since the beginning of the year, but the website is absolutely in the works. It will be up here very, very soon. And then everyone can reach me on FloridaSaltyCowgirl.com. And we've been working feverishly on it. And
cool.
I certainly hope this will be the week that we're up and we're live. And as soon as it is, I'll make a huge announcement on social media. And I'm really looking forward to blogging some of these experiences so people can read about them.
Awesome. Well, Carolyn?
It's that time. How did that happen?
This is for you, Carolyn.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carolyn. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carolyn. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Carolyn, even though it's belated.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
And many more.
Yeah, true, and many more. And a big thank you for taking the time to co-host with me and share with me on Sunday mornings. I greatly appreciate it. God bless you both. Wish you an awesome weekend, what's left of it. And my friends, we'll be back in a week. God bless. And talk to you soon.
God bless.
That's it. There we go.